Hi, I'm Liz Speakman with the Fair Share campaign. I'm here to tell you about why we should vote yes on one. Question 1 is going to add a small tax to the wealthy to help pay for education and transportation. If you make over $1 million a year, you're going to see a small increase in your personal income tax, and all of that revenue will come back to our communities for our schools and roads and bridges. So 99% of us will not pay a penny more, and those that do can afford to pay a little bit more to help our communities. So less than 1% of the Massachusetts population will pay this additional tax. And what I tell voters is, your first $1 million is free. So nothing changes when you make $1 million a year. Every dollar over $1 million, there'd be an additional 4% tax. We're estimating that it will bring in around $1 to $2 billion a year in added revenue for the state. And all of that money is going to go towards education and transportation. So it is a constitutional amendment. It has gone through the State House twice and a constitutional convention. So there's a lot of political will to make sure that we have additional revenue for education and transportation. So now that it's gone through the State House, it's on the ballot for voters to decide whether this is a fair way to increase revenue for our state. So once it passes, if it passes on November 8th, it will become in effect on January 1st, and we'll see it in the next budget cycle. So I've been knocking on doors and making calls since July, talking to voters across Quincy, and there's a few questions that I've been asked. I've been asked about, will this affect me when I sell my home? Is this going to affect small businesses? And how do we know that this money is going to go where they say it is? I love getting those questions because I really get the chance to engage voters around what I've come to learn about those issues. So in terms of selling a home, what I've learned about selling a home in Massachusetts is you only pay taxes on the gain. So there's 3 things. You only pay taxes on the gain. So for example, if you bought your house 20 years ago for $200,000 and you sell it today for $1.5 million, you're only paying taxes on the difference. The second thing is, in Massachusetts, when you sell your primary residence, you deduct $500,000 off the selling cost and you don't pay taxes on that amount. So again, if you sell your home for $1.5 million, you're not paying taxes on that $500,000 in addition to what you had paid in the beginning. The third thing that is really important for us as homeowners is you deduct any work you've done on your home over the time that you've owned it. So many of us have had to get a new roof, perhaps a new furnace, fix the driveway, maybe there was flooding and we had to get new floors in the basement. All of that can be deducted off the sale cost. And so what that comes down to is less than 3% of home sellers will be affected by this new tax. If you think about your own home, it's very unlikely that with all of those deductions, you're going to still hit that over $1 million threshold. So most of us are not going to pay this tax when we go to sell our homes. The second question I get a lot is, what about small business owners? Are they going to be affected? And I can tell you, they are not. My parents are small business owners and they have a construction company. And while they do pretty well with revenue, a lot of that revenue has to go back into the business. So they have to pay workers, they have to pay for equipment, fixing things, workers' comp insurance. There's all kind of expenses that go along with owning a business. And so even though their revenue may be great, they never made $1 million a year in personal income. And that's the case for all of our small business owners. And I would say that if your income, your personal income is over $1 million a year, you're not a small business owner. And so those that do make over $1 million a year can afford to pay a little bit more to give back to the communities that have helped them grow their business to be so successful. The last point is, how do we know it's going to go where they say it's going to? Well, it's a constitutional amendment. It's going to be in our Constitution that this revenue is allocated to education and transportation. There is no stronger way to make sure that the tax money goes where it's supposed to than making it a constitutional amendment. And so For me, I'm a mom, I have little kids, and I'm really invested in making sure that this money goes to our educational system. And after this passes November 8th, I will be in the fight, continuing the fight to make sure that Quincy gets those resources that we need to have strong public schools and safe and effective transportation. Join me in voting yes on 1 on November 8th.